Thank you for staying with us. Recent building collapse cases in Nigeria have highlighted the importance of preventive measures and effective emergency response systems. These cases have resulted in loss of lives and property, emphasizing the need for strict enforcement of building codes and regulations. To prevent such incidents, it is crucial to conduct regular inspections of buildings, identify potential hazards, and take prompt action to mitigate risks and ensure people's safety. Well, joining us for this conversation is the National President, Industrial Safety Council of Nigeria, Engineer John Obajimi. Good morning, and it's good to have you join us.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. In your experience as an industrial safety expert, what are those perhaps critical signs of structural failure that occupants of this structure or even persons who go about in search of houses need to pay attention to avoid being a victim of building collapse?
If I hear your question well, you are asking a question of what the public should do if they notice
what they can detect.
The collapse is imminent.
What they can detect to know that a structure is not good enough for them to live in, and perhaps raise the alarm for necessary authorities to do the needful.
Okay. When you see the building that you notice some cracks in the part of the buildings, especially when it is around the foundation, is a sign that tells you that this building is going to collapse. There are situations where you see the landlord or the builder now come maybe to just patch some of those areas that you see that are already showing ways. They just patch it, address it, and then you continue to live there. It is unsafe. If, as an occupant or as the public, there is a general saying in safety that when you see something, say something. Draw the attention of the authorities to it and show evidence. If possible, if you can have pictures, take some pictures and show the authority. But of course, you can also equally talk to maybe the facility manager or whoever is in charge first to let them know that there are dangers in this building.
Yes, okay.
Try to cascade it to the appropriate authority. And I tell people, just run for your life. Once you see that a property has the hazard level is high, the risk level is high, you should not manage. You know, I know there is this dimension of the economy that can make people to just, okay, nothing will happen. Sometimes people can go religious, can go spiritual, and say, oh, by the grace of God, I have prayed and we have been anointed, nothing will happen. Something will happen because it is nature. So we don't religionize safety. When you see issues that can cause hazard, not only in the building collapse, try and run for your life.
Okay, sir.
Relate to the authority.
Just last week here, I saw the aftermath of the building collapse in Ojodu, and it was heart-wrenching. When I got there to see what was going on, I heard a girl screaming, "Help, help!" And within 1 minute or so, she stopped screaming. She obviously passed on. I also saw a mother and child that were removed from their car that the building fell on. Now we are talking about report these things to the appropriate authorities. I can tell you, sir, that up to 90% of Nigerians do not know who this authority we are talking about are. Could you give us an idea of where to go to if something like that happens?
Okay, it depends on where it is happening, because there are national regulations and there are state regulations. There are national regulators and state regulators. For instance, in Lagos, I know you have this planning department in Lagos. You have the Lagos Safety Commission is there in Lagos, if it is an event that happens in Lagos. But if it is in Abuja, there are organizations like COREN, the Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, which you can report to. I can assure you there is no government authority that will hear and see evidence of an imminent danger. I will not cascade and do the right thing. So Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria is the authority to report to for building. And if it's electrical related, Nigerian Electricity Management Services Agency handles issues that are electrical safety related. So it depends on which aspects of the structure that needs attention. So current, you can see them. Then, like I said, in every state, you need to know what's the name of the government authority in the state where you live.
Okay. But I know that we have measures to take, especially safety measures when building a house. But oftentimes you see that when the house falls down and then they will say, oh, they didn't really check it well, it wasn't regulated well, they didn't check the safety. Are we always waiting for something to happen? And I'll give you an instance, because I live in Lekki. About a month ago, a house fell down in Lekki, close to where I live. And everybody that gathered there, plus the officials that came there, they said, oh, they did not get the right building permit. They didn't get all the safety instructions. Do we keep waiting for something to fall down, then we all gather and say they didn't get the safety instructions? What are we doing? What measures are we taking before we even start building? You also mentioned run for your life. For how long will we keep running? Why don't the right things be done rather than telling the tenants to run for their lives?
Well, if I understand your question very well, we need to first understand that violation of building codes and are the major reasons for most of these collapses. Now, there are issues of safety materials, substandard safety materials. There are issues of self-regulations by developers, grid by developers, overloaded the foundation, issue of complication in acquiring lands, which can also trigger the issue of building collapse. Now, the first thing that is very paramount is for everyone to be a safety officer first, because on your projects, ensure that you put in place your own local safety people that manages your project for you. So that and also put the line of communication on your building, on your projects, so that people can know that this is the person to talk to. Then there is the issue of this public sensitization by government, where government has been doing a lot, but it needs to increase public sensitization in the area of allowing people to know the communication lines, when there is issue of safety concerns, and also getting appropriate approvers is key, because when you get appropriate approval, usually in those documents, the phone numbers of people you can equally call are there. When an organization is giving you an approval in their documents, the phone number of their staff that you can call is usually there. So I don't know whether this answered your questions very well, because there are some little background noise from here.
Right.
So thank you.
Right. So looking at these tragic incidents, repeating themselves in different states, I'm wondering what this recurrent pattern revealed about the structural safety we put on the ground, because we know that there are some buildings, we've given instances of buildings. You've also made reference to some of these collapsed buildings where you have skyscrapers, where you have some buildings, you hear the authorities saying that we've been there, we told them to stop work, to stay action, but then they still carried on. One way or the other, they did it at night, and people around there would have also raised the alarm without anything being done. Why does it seem like we are not learning from, you know, this tragic incidents and they keep occurring? Who exactly should be punished for this kind of thing? Because houses that have that are falling, do we also punish the landlords, or do people in the authority who did not do their job also get the knocks? Not just the knocks, but the punitive measures.
Okay, I think there are many dimensions to this. The government should do more on the aspect of enforcement, because there is no safety without enforcement. So if people inform the government authority there are imminent danger, and they refuse to do so, they can take them to court. They can write to police authority. They can write to civil defense and other government agencies who are saddled with responsibilities of protection of lives and property. So if you call a government authority, and I tell you that will work, if you call, if you draw the attention of the government authority to it, to come and enforce, and they refuse to do it, write to the police, write to the civil defense, give picture, show evidence. And when you are reporting, don't just make it only verbal, because verbal communication can be denied.
Yeah.
So as much as it's possible, let there be a kind of a formal way of reporting to them, so that if they refuse to do after one or two follow up, go cascade it to the security office, security agencies. So that, I believe, when the police or civil defense, who does more on the infrastructure, when they are aware that when the officer in charge from maybe government side now are aware that you have equally reported the matter to the police authority, they will sit up. They will have to do the right thing, because they know that if an accident eventually happens, that document, the fact that you have notified them officially, it can be tenable in the court of law.
Yeah, sorry, Engineer John.
I want to
Engineer John,
don't
sorry.
just make a call. Send WhatsApp message, send a SMS, write on paper.
Right, Engineer John, the crux of my question, if you can hear me.
Have evidences.
Yeah, the crux of my question, you know, is the fact that who gets punished, who have been punished so far that we've seen that we can, you know, make reference to. Who gets punished? Is it the government officials, or is it the owner of the building? Have we had instances? That's the crux of the question that I asked.
Well, I think I cannot specifically mention those who have been punished, because Nigerian Industrial Safety Council of Nigeria, National Industrial Safety Council of Nigeria, is not the right regulator. And so perhaps if you get to the regulator, like maybe current, like Nigerian Institute of Builders, perhaps they can be able to give us details of the people that have been sanctioned. But I agree with you that the government should do more. And I think going from this our discussion, government should make it public. If you are able to sanction an area landlord or a developer or an engineer, whether they're a quack engineer or a builder, if the government sanctions some of them, put it in the public domain. Let everybody be aware, because that alone is going to serve as deterrent to other erring people or intending erring people. But when there is no enforcement to the, when people are not aware that there is consequence for this their action, then it's likely that they will continue. So I agree with you. I agree with you that the government needs to put this in public. So I don't want to say nobody has been sanctioned, but at the same time, I cannot specifically mention. I remember the case of the one that happened in Ikoyi in November 1st, 2021. Yeah. There were a lot of investigations carried out. There were allegations and counter allegations. I think I even remember that a particular architect withdrew from that project when he noticed that there were infractions that is going to lead to possible collapse.
All right.
All those evidences are enough for the authority to say, okay, who now sanctioned it? Then the person should be called to answer. And when that is done, the government should make it public so that other people will know that, right. Oh, if I follow the same trend, then I'm going to end up I'm going to end up being punished.
Yeah.
Okay.
So without punishing offenders, there will be no compliance.
Absolutely. And now this takes me to the next question about safety measures or protocols that have to be put in place for buildings, organizations, whatever it might be. What are they to ensure that lives are actually safeguarded? And how regularly should we ensure checks for buildings to ensure that their integrity is in place?
Okay, safety measures to put in place. There are many dimensions to it. If you visit the Federal Ministry of Labor, which oversees, on behalf of the federal government, the safety of lives and property in the country, occupational safety, to be precise. There are different policies. We have national policy on occupational health and safety. We have construction safety. These are policies, these are documents provided by government, and they were not provided, they were not done by only government. It was a tripartite. Nigeria National Industrial Safety Council of Nigeria was part of the team, and other safety bodies and professionals put all these documents together. So all the people into building and other aspects of engineering could go and visit them and collect these policies. Now, and for the sake of mentioning, it is paramount that every organization, private or public, should have a kind of a public, health and safety policy guiding the operation of the building or whatever projects, either electrical or whatever. So there should be policy guiding the work, and also there are regulations. There are rules and regulations. There are procedures, safety procedures that must be put in place by the organization which the supervisor is going to enforce in that place, so that everybody around is guided by the procedures of the activity. Every project has its own detailed procedure that if all the employer, even the third party, if they abide by those procedure and safety rules and guidelines, they will be safe from harm.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, the buildings are dropping everywhere, around this same period. We are having building collapse. We are hearing so much of them. And it is moving away from buildings to infrastructure. The Lotto Bridge is almost down. Could you explain, I don't know if that is within your fare, but I'm sure that the safety measures and all that you promote has to do with infrastructure like this. What do you think is behind all this, apart from the fact that we are using substandard materials, we are not doing the right thing and all that? What about something like the Lotto Bridge that is almost down? Why is it happening at the same time, the same period of time?
Okay. I think let me read this statistics before I come to the bridge, the bridge collapse. According to statistics by Building Collapse Prevention Guild, since 1974 to January 2025, we've had cases of 640 building collapse and 1,595 deaths. Now, coming to the bridge collapse, some of the reasons that why these bridges are giving way is because one, age factor. So, some of them have passed the age where they're supposed to maybe undergo heavy maintenance or restructuring. I mean, where they're supposed to perhaps reconstruction rather. So what is expected of government authorities to do to prevent bridges collapse is integrity test from time to time. Because these facilities, trailers are plying some of them.
Yeah.
And perhaps when they were designed, they were not designed to have that number of traffic of trailers of heavy load.
But sorry, not to
cut
you short quickly. There's this follow-up question. Not to cut you short, there's this follow-up question I really need to ask you. My colleague Ibrahim was speaking about the fact that has anybody been brought to book so far? And you couldn't really give a concrete answer. But I put it to you that we have a body called, they are what we call the final occupancy certificate. Do you think that these people should be brought to book? Because when a building is finished, we also have people that go and check the building to be sure that people can now live in the building. Where are these people? Have they been doing their jobs? And if they've been doing their jobs and giving out certificates and the houses are still falling down, don't you think those are the people that should be called to book?
Well, I agree with you. I agree with you because there are code of conduct and oath of secrecy or oath of service that every professional signs to, either at the point of getting employed or along the line while project is going on. So if somebody is found to be wanting in discharge of his duty that leads to risk to life, especially fatality, they should face the law.
All right.
You know, in the UK, you have HSC,
unfortunately,
executives.
Unfortunately,
this kind of
Engineer John Obajimi, unfortunately, our time is up. We could have continued this conversation. So much needs to be said, but time is not our friend. Thank you once again, Industrial Safety Council of Nigeria, Engineer John Obajimi. Thank you so much for your time on the program.
It's a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, we'll take a break.